Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm going to do a book review on the book Will Grayson, written by John Green and David Levithan. I'm pronouncing that wrong, I know. Sorry. So, I personally thought that Will Grayson was going to be very interesting because co-written books are very hard to do successfully. Co-written anything, really, because there's a very distinct difference between two authors' tones, and so I was really curious as to how this one was going to work out. And so I thought it was, personally a very ingenious idea that in Will Grayson, there were two separate speakers, and they would go back and forth between the chapters, one Will Grayson for one chapter and another Will Grayson for the other, and that, each author would write a different Will Grayson. So I thought that was a brilliant way to, get over the obvious difference in the way that writers write without, making it completely impossible. And you can very clearly see, which writer wrote which bit. It comes through very obviously. You can hear a lot of John Green and what he wrote, and so I thought that was pretty cool. Another thing I love is the character Tiny, because he's the one character that's written about a lot in both of their sections. Without any spoilers, he's very important to both the Will Graysons. And I thought it was brilliant that despite how different they are, they managed to write the exact same character. Because it's from two different perspectives, but it's so the same person. He doesn't, change in the different ways. So they managed to collaborate, so brilliantly with this book, and they managed to create great character depth. And, it's two very separate storylines that it kind of shows, the connection between people that oftentimes we overlook. One person and you have your own story with them, and they're meanwhile having a story with someone else. And it also shows that, the narrator is not the most important character, because personally I thought, in my opinion, Tiny was by far the most important character in this book, and he was so well executed by both the authors. I thought it was really brilliant. The characters had a lot of character depth, and I thought they did a fantastic job writing this. So as for writing style, they would get an A+. As far as plot goes, it's not the plot itself isn't necessarily dry, but sometimes you can get bored with the excitement, partially due to the narrator's reactions, but I don't know, sometimes something very exciting could be going on, and I would just sort of, be yawning about it, but it was just a small issue. And I thought it had a really fantastic, open-ended ending, because it wasn't very definite. It just sort of showed that, a story can end, but, obviously that's not and they lived happily ever after. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic book. I would give this one a 4 out of 5. So, if you get a chance and it's in your library, you should definitely read Will Grayson. It was pretty fantastic. So, I guess a little context, I decided to start doing book reviews because, I read a lot of books. Why not? So,